All right, we are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
What's going on, man? It's like I feel more comfortable doing this in the studio now.
Don't get too
We-
comfortable.
We're doing this for too long, man.
Oh
I
man,
do I do miss being in the
I
studio.
do too, man. I do
The
too, man.
professionalism of it. I mean, we look like two random Joes, which we are sitting at the house.
Will always be a random Joe.
Yeah, random Joe,
I,
but
I don't mind being not maybe not a random Joe, but maybe a regular Joe.
right,
Maybe regular. I'd rather be
regular
regular. Yeah,
random.
I don't want to be random. I don't want to be a random.
Oh man, come on, you don't want to be the random man.
Nah, man, I don't want to be.
Uh,
I don't want to be the random man. I don't want to be the random. But what's good, man? What's going on?
Nothing, man. Just catching up on everything, man. Miss my sports, man. Really, really, really miss the sports. But the draft was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, we gonna we gonna get into the draft. Of course, we're gonna get into the last dance. Matter of fact, let's get into that real quick. We like last week. We spent 65% of the show on the last dance and things of that nature. So let's talk. Let's talk the last dance. What everybody was talking about, which we saw when we were younger too. The Pistons just walking off, and of course it's come back around. And so now what how do you feel about that?
I felt at the time. Well, I'm not even going to say at the time because we were young when it came. I felt it was a classless move.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's being overhyped. I mean, they got their butt whipped. I mean, and they were mad. I mean, nowadays, if they would have done something like that, I think it would have been just as big of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's time to just kind of let it go.
Who should let it go? The Bulls, the guys on that team.
I don't think the Bulls and the Pistons really care.
Oh, they care.
Well, I think from the Bulls standpoint, they're like, you know
Mhm.
what? The fact that they didn't shake our hands, we didn't want them to shake our hands anyway. I mean, it was more so glad that they got the victory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a 4-game sweep. I guess from the Pistons side, you look at like Isaiah Thomas, the heat
Mm-hmm.
that he took forward, and feeling like that was the reason why he wasn't on the Dream Team. He's the one that really, in my opinion, had lost the most out of it.
So, do you think that's the reason he wasn't on the Dream Team?
Absolutely.
So, Rod Thorne today said that MJ was it. I don't know if it was today, but I saw the report. It was today. He said that he didn't talk to MJ, and that wasn't the reason why he wasn't on the why he wasn't on the Dream Team. Which I would like for you to explain to me how he's not on the Dream Team. He's the best player on that team.
Right. Here's what I think, and I think a lot of people would disagree with me. I think it's twofold.
How you know people gonna disagree with you before you even say it?
I don't think it had. I don't think Jordan
Uh-huh.
had anything to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the incident had something to do with it.
Not shaking hands.
Right. So I think that they didn't put him on the team because of the incident.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that Michael Jordan was petty enough or is petty enough to be like, yo, don't put Isaiah Thomas on the team. Or if you put Isaiah Thomas on the team, then I won't show up. Because think about it this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Daly is the coach.
So and Joe Dumars was on the team.
Now, Joe Dumars wasn't.
Joe Dumars wasn't on the Dream Team?
He was on the second Dream Team.
Yeah, you're right.
So if I'm Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he was on the second Dream Team, and he was old.
Yeah, well, both of them.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas was on the second Dream Team with Shaq and all those
Was
guys.
he?
Yeah, he's on the second one.
I gotta look that. I'm about to look that up. Really?
Yeah, he was on the second one.
Okay.
So if I'm Jordan, I think his hatred went to Chuck Daly just like it went to Isaiah Thomas. He may have hated Isaiah Thomas a little bit more because he played against him, But I mean, why would you play for the coach that pretty much designed the Jordan rules?
Yeah, and Isaiah Thomas wasn't on there.
He wasn't on the second one.
He wasn't on Dream Team 2.
I thought
Joe Dumars was. You were right with that one, but he wasn't on Dream Team 2.
I thought Isaiah Thomas was on Dream Team 2.
So because and I remember
he retired in '94. So
right. So and he was like that was one of the he said that's one of the things in his career that you know I don't want to say haunts him, but I guess he's done everything else. You know, he's won a national championship in college. He's won NBA championships. So it was like that was the one thing that you ain't got. You ain't got it.
He deserved to be on there. I mean,
I agree.
Right now, I mean, people will argue that John Stockton.
He was better than John Stockton.
I think he was too. But it's a fair argument that I mean you can make the argument for both of them. But at the time, Isaiah Thomas was definitely better than John Stockton.
Absolutely. I mean, he was a two-time champion. He went to the finals. What was it? 3 straight years? Yeah, they went to the finals 3 straight years.
Yeah, I really think it was more than the whole Jordan thing. I don't think at the time that Michael Jordan had that much pull. I mean, Jordan probably had a lot of pull.
He had the pull. He had enough pull. I won't even. Nah, he had enough pull to. If he wanted to say, "Hey, you're not with us, then you're not on the team." I can see that happening. I can see it happening, man.
I think watching everything kind of play out, I think it's an easy scapegoat for whoever made the decision.
Right.
I think it's one of those things that's a conspiracy, and I think that Jordan is probably being made the reason to why, and the people that were really behind the reason aren't man enough or woman enough to stand up and say, all right, this is why we didn't put him on that team. And really, I think the easiest way to say it is like, okay, well, we feel that he didn't represent the USA correctly in sportsmanship. But you had Charles Barkley. That
is true.
Like, it's a lot of contradictions with it to where it's like, okay, he didn't shake Michael Jordan's hand at the end of the loss. Let's look at some of the stuff that Charles Barkley was doing at that time. I'm not saying that Charles Barkley shouldn't have been on the team. I'm just saying that
be fair.
It really doesn't make any sense.
Be fair. Is no reason how he shouldn't be on the team. There was another thing in that before we get off of this was Jordan calling out Scott Burrell. Did you see that?
What did he call out Scott
Burrell? So they were on a plane. I think they might have been playing cards or something. Oh, and he was like, "This man is Dennis Rodman Jr. He never sleeps. if he's like he's a single man and this that." And I was like, "Oh, Jordan, man." He's like, "No, don't put this on camera. Don't put this on camera."
I don't think Jordan ever thought them tapes was gonna really get out.
Right. But come on, man. It was like, he was like, my mom and dad gonna be watching. He's like, Mom, Dad, your son is an alcoholic. Like, oh my gosh, that was pretty funny, man. That was interesting.
The Rodman stuff had me dying, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, Rodman, you can tell, was just different, man. He was a different cat, which I think we all knew, but now it's like, he was different, man. What you had to say about Rodman? Man?
Nah, man, I was waiting for you to finish. My bad.
I just say
that was an awkward first date pause.
Awkward first date. Yeah. Nasa, where you at? but nah, he was he was one of those guys that was just that good. He worked so hard that, and like they showed, he was in Vegas for however many days. He came back and pretty much was working harder than everybody else that was at practice. That's a lot.
Yeah, he was a freak athlete, but not just like how Jordan was just like, yeah, I had to go to the room and get him. And it was some stuff going on in that room.
And then they show Carmen Electra.
Yeah, I'd just say Michael Jordan showed up. I was like, wow.
So, I mean, all in all, so far so good as far as like the first 4 episodes. I think 5 and 6 next week are going to be crazy. But yeah, man, this is something that everybody needs right now. At least the sports fans. You need this right now because it's like you ain't got nothing else. So,
you know what I was surprised about how much people have learned about that Bulls team and Michael Jordan, because a lot of it, I think, no matter how much like we knew, you still enjoy like watching it.
Yep.
But like you said, I mean, you're a Bulls fan, and I followed sports, so I don't feel like I've learned anything that was this like super like taboo or super,
right.
Like I didn't know, but I still enjoy watching it. I think it's a very well put together documentary, and I like how they're kind of pulling back from history and showing how things were. So, no, it's definitely good.
Okay, so the draft.
The draft.
You're a 49ers fan. Before we even matter of fact, before we even go into the draft, let me just let people know you can watch live on Facebook on Off the Record page and on YouTube on the Off the Record page. So
nice little plug.
So, yeah, so and we'll show some. So if we get comments, we'll show the comments and and go from there. But all right, go ahead. You're a 49ers fan. How you feel like y'all did in the draft?
Okay, so when I was watching the first round, at first I didn't really like the first pick.
And y'all got who'd y'all get first?
We got the defensive tackle. I can't even remember his name, but
right.
He's good. He's good. He's good. I was disappointed at first because I wanted us to go for a receiver. There's a lot of good receivers that was on the board, but we turned out to get a receiver in the first round. So, and we ended up getting the guy we wanted. So overall, I really liked what the 49ers did. Wasn't crazy about the tight end that we got like in the 6th round. He went to I wanted to say he went to Georgia. So he did a lot of blocking, didn't really do a lot of pass catching. But other than that, man, the Trent Williams, I like that.
I was waiting for that one. I was waiting for you to talk about that one.
We got Trent Williams cheap. We got Trent Williams.
Absolutely.
That was, I don't want to say that was the steal of the draft for us, but that was definitely a good pickup.
Yeah, man. I thought when I saw that, I was like, good riddance, because he's not on the Redskins anymore. But I thought that was a great pickup, man. And the rich got richer because the O-line was good. Although you had a guy that was retiring, but I mean, man, what a replacement! You bring in an All-Pro for, I think, what a 4th round or 5th round, something like that. It was something that you was like, oh, okay. That draft pick probably wouldn't make the team, or there'll be a backup. So you get an All-Pro for that. Then I mean, and there's some familiarity because Kyle Shanahan was his head coach and not his head coach, but he was his coaching in DC. So yeah, man. So I feel like if I had to look at Dallas's draft, I really liked it. I think, I don't know if this class is as good as the class with Dak and Zeke and Jalen Smith.
Pretty close.
But it's pretty close. It's I think every pick that the Cowboys got was a solid pick and somebody that can help the team. And I think that they got him at without having to make a trade or really do a bunch of wheeling and dealing. So yeah, if I had to give them a letter grade, I would give them. You're gonna sound biased, but I would give them an A. I think that's an A draft.
All right, so this is my feelings on the draft,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll get into the losers. I think this is
The
one of
losers.
yeah, this is one of the unique drafts to where most people did all right.
Mm-hmm.
You look at just about every team and say, okay, they addressed draft need.
Mm-hmm.
They got what they needed. It's going to be a really good season. I think the only glaring team that everybody is like, was the Packers.
You think they're the only ones?
I think they're the front runner.
Hmm.
I think most people wasn't sold on what they did. I think the fact that they didn't get Aaron Rodgers any help has created a little bit of a rift between that organization. I mean, you saw Brett Favre came out and said something about it.
Yeah, because he's seen this. He's seen this before. All right, so we got so yeah. So here's my thing with I until this weekend I didn't realize it because I'm not a Packers fan, but they've never drafted an offensive player in the first round since since Rodgers, which is crazy. He's never thrown the ball to none of his receivers were first round picks, which that is, I think that's a sign of his greatness. I think we all can agree that Rodgers is a great quarterback. But it's like, what is the organization doing? and then ultimately, it seems like they're taking his talent and greatness for granted. And yeah, I mean, yes, there's nothing wrong with taking Jordan Love, but if you could have got him in the second round, I think you probably should have done that and got some help where you really could. You were 13-3 last year, and don't think that you couldn't get to 13-3, that you're gonna get to 13-3 or 14-2 because you stood pat and you drafted a quarterback.
Well, it was a team they drafted like a team that was rebuilding,
right? And then they traded up to get Jordan Love. So it was just weird, and I think that the rift between LaFleur and Rodgers is really going to come to head in a couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're looking at it, right? So you said it. I mean, couldn't have said it any better. They were 13-3 last year in the NFC Championship. So they're obviously a team that is right there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at like some of the other teams in the NFC, I mean, Tampa Bay, it was hard to imagine that they got better in the draft, but they did.
Yeah.
You look at Dallas, the part of me that wants to rub it in your face that it doesn't matter what the Cowboys do, they'll probably lose. But the facts are the facts. They had a good draft on a loaded team with a different coach. So, I mean, they're going to be there. I mean,
yep.
You can't not put them in our conversation. You look at some of the things that Arizona did. You got the 49ers is right back there.
They might not even win their division.
With the Packers?
Mm-hmm.
So who do you have winning that division now?
I mean, the Vikings could easily win that division. The Vikings, you still got Chicago. You never know with Chicago because they're hot and cold, and this could be the year. This could be the year that Trubisky is super hot, and they go on one of those runs. Their defense is still legit. So, I mean, it's going to be tough for Green Bay, and I think LaFleur he's taking Rogers' greatness for granted, and he's gonna don't think everybody got a Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he Jordan Love was compared to Patrick Mahomes, but he ain't Patrick Mahomes. So they better reel it in just a bit before it gets a little shaky for them.
So let me ask you this, because you brought it up. Who else is a big loser in your eyes?
Do you want me to stay with the teams, or you want me to say what I really feel?
Yeah,
just stay with the teams. Just stay with the teams.
Or you can say whatever you feel.
No, so the bigger losers were the Eagles
with Jalen Hurts.
I feel like so don't get me wrong. I'm happy they signed Jalen Hurts or drafted Jalen Hurts, but you had other needs, and then the receiver Jalen Rager from TCU. I don't know. Me personally, I probably would have leaned more to Jefferson from LSU, but
Jefferson was a bad boy. He's a bad boy.
And I'm not really that upset at that pick. I'm not upset at any of their picks, but I think that they had other needs than to take a quarterback in the second round. Now again, don't get me wrong. I am ecstatic that Jalen Hurts got drafted. But I mean, they had other needs. I mean, they needed a tight end. I mean, not a tight end, but they needed receiver help because I mean, you just drafted one, but you had a ton of guys that no one knew who these guys were. Alshon Jeffrey ain't it. You don't know what you're gonna get with Deshaun Jackson. Is what's the old boy that went to Nebraska that had the dropsies, but he's not the guy. So I think that their first two rounds they probably should have focused on receiver. Their linemen, defensive line and offensive line, not only got older, but they lost some guys. Defensively they lost a ton. So I know a lot of people are saying that the Eagles are still the front runners in the NFC East, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And not just because I'm a Cowboys fan, because look at what they've done since going 9-7. They haven't done much, or 10-6, whatever they went, but they've lost more than they've gained.
Okay, no, I think that was fair. Jalen Hurts, yeah, I thought it was a reach. But I could see a team with Carson Wentz wanting to get some sort of backup quarterback because that he's really injury prone.
He didn't miss a game last year.
Still injury prone.
He didn't miss a game. I mean,
he's still injury prone.
I understand you can say that, but 2 out of his 4 years he played in every game. I mean, two out of his first 4 seasons he played 16 games. So yes, he had that injury. He had that injury the second year with his knee, and then the following year he was just playing bad. I mean, they used the injury as an excuse. He was just playing bad.
So let me ask you this, because I saw you made a comment. Mm-hmm. You felt like the Raiders took too many receivers?
Yes, but they did take my guy though, Lynn Boyden. That he may be the rookie of the year. He may be the rookie of the year, but the very next pick, they took another receiver. I said, wait a minute. What are they doing? Are they trying to build a football team or a track team? Because they got a lot of fast guys.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. So this is what's surprising me. Mm-hmm. Mike Mayock is supposed to be like a wizard in the draft.
Yeah.
He always seems pretty shook up. Like he is not comfortable in the draft. Like I would expect him to be. Like, you ever seen that movie Draft Day?
That's my movie.
Like it's supposed to be like Mike Mayock. Like he's supposed to be that guy. Like, okay, I want to work the system. I got the inside track on all the guys, but seems flustered, man.
Yeah, I think that he's not it's almost like somebody that gets hired for like their specialty, but when it's time to do the job, their specialty isn't that great. So somebody like what's the old Redskins coach, Jay Gruden, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. He's coming, he's gonna fix RG3, he's gonna do all of these things, and he gets there and the quarterback is terrible. I mean, and don't get me wrong, Cousins played well, but it wasn't that great. The offense that they ran wasn't that great, or it wasn't that productive. Right. So I think with Mayock, he was a draft expert. That was his job. He was a draft expert, and ultimately, I think that's what got him his job. You know what I'm saying? Because the Raiders were struggling in the draft, and I don't know, man. Yeah, their drafts is.
Well, he hit a home run with Josh Jacobs last year. He had Colin Farrell, which everybody was just kind of like, yeah, okay.
But I can understand why they make that pick, though.
But they had to after trading Khalil Mack, so they had to do something.
And Farrell didn't play bad as a rookie.
No, he didn't play bad.
I think he had 7 sacks or something like that.
So I kind of feel like the Raiders are on the clock a little bit, even though they got Gruden with that massive contract.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't put out a winning season, man, it's.
So this is what we heard. I got a comment. Look, this. Terrell said they drafted a slam dunk champion. So I mean, hey, I don't know, man. I kind of agree with you though. They are on the clock. They are, but I don't think there's as much pressure for them this year as it will be the following year.
So here's the thing: they're not going to fire John Gruden,
mm-hmm.
but I would like to see some pressure applied to him. You know, I mean, I'm on call for what it is. If he was black, this wouldn't be tolerated. Wouldn't be tolerated.
Oh yeah, he pulling the race card.
I said it. I pulled the race card.
Yeah, I mean, but they clearly have a plan. They want to get their quarterbacks. They want to get Carr as many weapons, Carr or a Mariota. They want to get them as many weapons as possible, and clearly they have. I mean, I'm telling you, Lynn Boyden Jr. I'm telling you, Scott.
So here I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr. He's not his brother David Carr.
Right.
But I think the Raiders probably would be better moving on from him.
And why do you say that?
I feel like he's their guy.
Why do you say that?
I think that they've invested too much in him. I think like certain guys, they're just like they've reached their potential.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Derek Carr, he reached his max. He peaked really early.
Mm-hmm.
And people are looking for him to duplicate that success that he had as a rookie, his second year, and he just hasn't been able to do it. He's not the guy that's going to get you over the hump.
Well,
and I don't think
it might be too soon. It might be too soon to say that.
You think it's too soon?
I think give him one more year.
Okay, so I'm starting to agree with you. They surrounded him with all the weapons they could. If he can't do it this year, yeah, you have to move on from him.
Yeah.
Or I'll even take it a step further. If they start the season and they look like the old Raiders,
mm-hmm.
you got to move on. And maybe that's why they brought Mariota in.
Oh, absolutely. You give them, you challenge them. That's similar to the Bears bringing in Foles to get these guys a push. With Derek Carr, I think he had a little bit of bad luck. I mean, the year he had his best season so far, he ended up unfortunately getting hurt right before the playoffs started. Then you have the following year, nothing went right. But last year, the Raiders weren't that bad. I mean, they were in a lot of games.
They were actually in the playoff hunt,
right? Until the end. So, I mean, you get him a little bit of help, and now we about to see. We this year, if there is a season, and we'll get to that in a little bit. This year is going to be telling for Derek Carr.
What did you think about the Saints getting Jameis Winston?
You know what's funny? Because we was on here talking last week about Jameis Winston, and somebody said he could get signed for $1 million and some crab legs. He literally signed the contract for $1 million.
And he might have some crab legs.
And he might have some crab legs in New Orleans. So, but
I thought he was worth more than $1 million.
I think with his incentives, it's incentives. It could be like 3 and some change. But so here's my thing with Jameis Winston, and this may take a while. We may be going somewhere where I don't know, but I think he's getting a bad rap.
Okay. I've been on the record for not really caring for Jameis Winston.
Mm-hmm.
But he's worth more than $1 million.
Let's forget the money. And I agree.
He's worth way more than $1 million.
But let's forget the money. You got teams out here. So let's go back. Everybody is trying to hang those 30 interceptions. Blah blah blah. Peyton Manning threw 28 in the season before. So don't give me that. Eli Manning's thrown a ton of interceptions in whatever. And I don't want to seem like I'm pulling the race card, but if he was white, they just be calling him a gunslinger. That's all. He's taking chances. So I think that's problem number one. Then number two, you got all these teams out here, and you got a ton of them where he doesn't need to go in as a starter, but he should be competing for the start. He threw for 5,000 damn yards last year. He threw for 5,000. He had 33 touchdowns. Okay, yes, he had 30 interceptions, and that's a problem. I agree, but 5,000 yards. Not too many people in the history can say they threw for 5,000 yards. That should be held to a higher standard than what is being held. Then you got teams like Jacksonville. You got teams like the Broncos. You got even the Jets, the Chargers, the Patriots. I could keep on going. The Bears. You know what I'm saying? So you got all these teams that he should be able to go in there and battle for a number one position, for a starting spot.
I'm glad you brought up the Bears because I was thinking about Mitch Trubisky when you were talking.
Right.
Jameis Winston scares me more than Nick Foles. I mean, if I was the starting quarterback, I mean, Nick Foles, he's had his moments, but
man, please.
He's had his moments.
I guess
what he was able to do with the Eagles.
They changed that whole and that's another thing. And I don't want to sound like I'm defending Wentz, but they didn't ask Foles to do what they asked Wentz to do. But that's another subject for another day.
Absolutely not. And I'm not making an argument for Nick Foles.
Right.
I'm just stating the obvious that he's done a few things, but I've always said it. I felt like it's been overhyped. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he had a Super Bowl run with that team, but that team would have won the Super Bowl with Wentz.
Right.
That. Like, I wasn't thinking that, just because we put in Nick Foles, he gave us a better shot or opportunity to win the Super Bowl than Carson Wentz.
Right.
I'm just saying, like you just brought up, there's guys that he could push. He could push a Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
He could push a Sam Darnold. He could push Dwayne Haskins. He could push I mean, the list goes on. Really, honestly, the only people he can't push is maybe Drew Brees, maybe a Russell Wilson,
Tom Brady,
Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady.
and Dak. If he was to go to Dallas right now, he's the backup quarterback.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's not a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to insult Dak Prescott with that, but it'd be interesting to see what that Dallas offense will look like because there's two different type of quarterbacks. Yeah, you have, like you said, a gunslinger, and you have. I don't want to say he's a game manager, but Dak Prescott's really smart with the ball,
and he threw for 4,900 yards last year. So I mean, it ain't. It's not like
he's really smart with the ball.
Yeah, the whole thing with Jameis is I think he's still getting a bad rap for Florida State and some of the dumb decisions he made. And he made some dumb decisions while in the league, but the last couple years he's fixed that, and they really haven't got him much help. He didn't have a lot of help.
But what about Cam Newton?
What about him?
I mean, why Cam Newton?
Look, recording from home. Lord have mercy.
Oh, man.
I don't even know what that is. I don't want to find out.
Whooping when they get off. I can't even say that no more. Nobody whoopings no more.
And your time is coming. But with Jameis Winston, I think a lot of people are still bringing up some of like the older things, and he's changed since then. I won't say he's even matured enough, but last year he stayed out of the way. They couldn't win games, or they went 7-9, right? They went 7-9, and or did they go 9-7? It was 7-9, right? 7-9.
I can't recall.
Yeah. So, but they lost a lot of close games. I would have even been cool with him staying in Tampa Bay, and they bringing in Tom Brady. I'm cool with that because you're not going to argue Jameis Winston starting over Tom Brady. But I just felt like Arians, who most of his quarterbacks have struggled a little bit his first year with them, and then that second year they take off and they have damn near Pro Bowl seasons. But he just didn't like Jameis. He didn't like him. He didn't like him at all. He was in a press conference. Huh?
Can't blame him there.
Blame who? Arians? Yeah, I mean,
it
was one season. It was one season. Jameis just wasn't his cup of tea.
Exactly. And that's where I was about to go with that. He's an acquired taste.
Pause.
Yeah. It sounded a little.
But all right, let's get to the. Hold on 1 second. Let me get you your Oh shoot, you ready? All right, hold on. Oops.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right, so I ain't go nowhere, but
Yo, shut up, man. Go ahead, man.
You really expect me to come back and be like, welcome back.
Yes. Hey, we got to keep it as normal as possible.
Oh, man.
Let's keep it as normal as possible. All right, go ahead, man.
All right, so I got two winners, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I got two. So I'm going to breeze through this other story, and then bear with me on this.
Hey, the floor is yours.
Floor is mine. All right, so my first winner is Telvin Smith. I don't know if you heard, he's the ex-Jacksonville Jaguars linebacker. Yeah. Got arrested for having sex with underage woman. So yeah, it's crazy, man. So he definitely deserves the winner of that for that.
Okay.
We don't condone that.
Absolutely.
But aside from that, I was reading this article today. This guy paid $800,000 to have dinner or a workout with Tom Brady football game tickets,
Mm-hmm.
his jersey, and his cleats.
Oh, you talking about for the all-in? I can't believe you are giving somebody winner of the week for donating money. Are you kidding me?
800,000.
Scott, if he's donating $800,000,
800,000.
I'm sure. Listen, Scott, hold on. I gotta get comfortable here. Scott,
800.
hold on, Scott. Before I'm gonna give you a chance to take this one back. Too late. You listen. All right, you're giving somebody winner of the week.
800.
Listen, I'm not done. You're giving somebody winner of the week for donating $800,000 to COVID-19 relief. Oh, this man Scott has changed. Are you kidding me? I don't care what it's for. It's not like he's just giving. It's not like he's giving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or Tom Brady's foundation $800,000.
Hold on. I thought it was for him giving the Tampa Bay Buccaneers joint.
What? No. So
hold on. The article I read, he just gave it to Tampa Bay.
No. He had to bid on that.
Oh,
it was the all-in challenge.
Okay, now you got me then, you got me.
I was waiting for the comment. I'm looking at the comments so they could get, but they didn't get to him yet. But Scott, you tripping? No. It's the all-in challenge.
Okay. That's why I was like, when I read that, I was like, 800,000. You know what I was thinking? I thought he just gave 800,000 to hang out with Tom Brady.
Oh, nah. I mean, technically he did, but it was donating to the COVID-19 relief.
Oh, that's a little bit different now. He was about to cook me.
Oh my God! I was about to say this man is a savage.
Yeah. I was looking. I was like, dang, the Joker was like, I'll let you take it back. I'm like, what do I do? I was like, oh, my bad.
Yeah, and
but for real though, I thought it was. I don't know. I'll go back and look at it, but I thought he just gave him the 800,000.
Because I know at one point, because it closed, I think either a day or two ago, and at one point it was like $700 and something thousand, and and all of those guys that's donating those things it's pretty dope. Because that was one of the things, you get dinner with Tom Brady. Magic Johnson's is pretty cool too. He flies.
Magic Johnson's.
So the winner gets he flies out to wherever you are. And I believe you had dinner, and then he flies you back. You have a whole thing. You have dinner, lunch, whatever. You spend the day with Magic, and then he flies you to LA. Y'all play horse at the Staples Center. You and Magic play horse at the Staples Center. Then you go have dinner or whatever, and then you fly, and then you go home or whatever.
That's all one. It had Russell Wilson. You get like a double date.
Yeah, with him and Sierra. And Peyton Manning. You play golf and have dinner with Peyton Manning.
So I misunderstood. I thought they were just paying that money just to chill with them. I was like,
no.
I was like,
yo, Scott is crazy. Scott, I'm not the only one that was gonna fry you. Trust me. If you ain't take that, I was gonna put that joint on.
You about to lead the yo. Yo, you know how your real friends are, because that Joker, his eyes got bigger. He started shaking head. Yo, that Joker just said, he said, yo, I ain't gonna give you a minute to take it back. He's like, yo, too late. I was like, oh no. I was like, oh, what? Yo, that Joker started doing it. Like, come on, man. Okay.
Hey,
I see how you are.
Just for the people, just to let y'all know, this proves that Scotty never tells me who his winner of the week is gonna be. That proves it right there, because I would have told them a long time ago, yo, Scott, don't do that.
No, I had the two, right? Because I read that and I was like, come on, man. I was like, we gotta talk about this. This is getting ridiculous, man. 800,000 and chill out with Tom Brady. Like, come on, man. Okay, so it's all going. I thought literally they were paying it to the Bucks. I thought it
Oh
was like,
nah.
man.
Yeah, and so so now that we got that cleared up, there are some good things going on with the All In Challenge. Um, and if you guys want to donate, I donated like $10, but I ain't got 800,000 to spare. So, I mean, yeah, because in the times we in right now is just crazy. So, yeah, this man Scott is crazy. But yeah, man. So that I guess we can transition into that. What is next with sports, man? What's next? What's next? Because right now, NBA season is on hold. We don't know if we're getting that back. MLB never got a chance to start. You hearing rumblings of NFL and college maybe having to either push their season back or possibly cancel it, or play without fans. And then you have to think about the upcoming basketball season. In the NHL, they're on hold as well. So what's next?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't know. I think most people thought that sports would have been back on by now. I mean, I thought this was going to last probably about initially, like when this all first started, pretty much like April 15th, everything would kind of be back to normal. Everything would die down. But it doesn't look like it's coming back anytime soon. And I think that's what I was talking about last week is it just really depends on people's comfort level, man.
Right. And that's gonna be an issue for some time. Like I said last week, unfortunately, if we don't get more tests and where people could get second tests, and I think we're gonna be stuck. But go ahead.
Nah, I think football, they'll do everything they can to open football back up.
On time?
They're going to do everything they can to open football back up because it's so much money.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think we've gotten to the point where I mean, money doesn't matter?
I think we've gotten to the point to where people are restless now.
Mm-hmm.
I think people have cabin fever. A lot of people are depressed at the house.
Mm-hmm.
I think that people are itching for things to go back to normal, some sort of way. And I think that at some point, people are going to want to rally around sports to like kind of ease the mood and feel like everything is normal. So I think at some point they're probably going to look at least for football. I don't know about baseball, but they're going to do everything they can to have that sort of entertainment going.
Yeah, I mean, because it's going to be tough. But I haven't heard a an idea that has been foolproof yet. You hear excuse me, you hear people saying, playing empty stadiums. You hear, a central location for the teams. And although those things sound great, I don't really think that they're realistic. Playing in a game without fans just seems crazy. I don't because a lot of the teams, a lot of the players, they play off of the emotion of the crowd. It's rare you go to a game and you don't see a player getting excited because of the fans.
But you know what? So we'll talk about the draft a little bit, right? We'll go back to that. I didn't think that the draft could be any better than what it had been. But I think people enjoyed the virtual draft.
Yeah, absolutely. It was.
So,
People did. Yeah.
so I say that however they bring sports back,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to look different. But I think people will adapt and adjust. So I think like one part of it is like you said, it'll look a little funny at first
Mm-hmm.
with the lack of crowd, but they'll figure out how to get fan engagement, make it interactive, and it may be the next new wave of how we watch sports.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this thing is being defined every minute. I mean, you look at not to get into the business side of it, but the e-commerce thing. I was reading that, you know, this is going to change the way people shop. You know what I mean? And what used to be normal is no longer going to be normal. So I think the realization that that's going to be the case with sports is starting to set in
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of us, especially like me and you that are hardcore gurus and hardcore fans. Is like, man, when are they going to bring it back? But the reality is it's going to look different.
And then and then you still have like high school sports that's in limbo. And I coach high school, so it's like, man, it's just crazy, man. It's something has to be done. Well, let me rephrase that. And when I say something has to be done, I don't mean like we have to play the games, but something has to be done on the other side as far as like getting the tests and providing enough tests in a good amount of time. And I don't want to say the ventilators because hopefully it doesn't have to get to that. But you know, they're still saying that there's not enough ventilators, and it's just I don't know. This is a crazy time. Like, of course, no one's ever seen before.
So let me quote something by you. And I was thinking about it the other day. You remember in 1994 when Major League Baseball went on strike?
Yep.
And it almost all felt like Major League Baseball never recovered from that. In my opinion, that's when you really saw the changing of the guard in America from baseball to football, as far as like the number one sport.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, you have hardcore fans like us, but the longer that we get used to a society without sports, I think it's going to ultimately be bad for sports. Because I think like some people will be happy that it's back, but other people would have found other interests to occupy their time.
I feel you on that one, but I disagree like 1,000,000%.
Well, it's just something to think about. You know what I mean?
And so, well, this is why I disagree. Mainly because, you see, I mean, I think if they put, we were watching people play horse in their driveways. We watching NBA players play a horse at their houses. We watched them play 2K. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to not go back to sport. I think when sports actually comes back, I think you're gonna have more people, not necessarily going to the games, but definitely you're gonna have more people watching everything, and it's gonna be that sport that comes back first. Which sounds crazy, and I don't want people to think like it's a race. But let's just say, for instance, it clears up like crazy in, we'll just use say like China or Japan or something like that, and they're able to like box. Let's say boxing is the first sport to come back, and you know boxing's been taking a hit because it's just not as entertaining as it used to be, and you still have MMA which has come in and kind of taken over, even though box still has those big prize fights. But let's just say boxing comes, and the Wilder and Tyson Fury fight is what comes back first, and I think it got moved to October. If that comes back, you know they're gonna break records of viewership that that is gonna be out of this world. And
Okay.
I think you might have at one time the entire world watching this event.
Okay, so I feel you on that, but I'm saying, like, let's say something doesn't come back first for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say this goes on for another 6 months, a
Okay.
year,
Mm-hmm.
and that everything comes back at the same time. People are going to have to fight to get that, to gauge that interest and to drum it up. You know what I mean? Because human nature is like, I mean, just think about it. Everybody's been sitting at the house, everybody's been doing their thing. They've been figuring out other ways to entertain themselves. And just like anything, sports is just as much of a business. I mean, look, me and you are going to watch whatever sport that we don't know the outcome of, and it's two people competing.
Right.
Everybody's not like that. So I just
So you mean the casual fan? So it's gonna be, you think? Because I don't think any type of fan is gonna lose interest, but that casual fan who may watch just the Super Bowl, they be like, I'm good. Whatever. It's been gone this long. I don't really care. Or they may, I see what you're saying. I see what I can understand that. Or it may, people may realize is damn, I missed it. I missed it a lot.
Yeah, some people, you're gonna have two sides of it, right? You're gonna have the people that really took it for granted,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna watch it more and they're gonna cherish it. But then you have other people that are just gonna be like, you know what, I'm good. You know what I mean? Or I wasn't that interested before, or they're gonna find different hobbies or different interests. So it's going to be interesting to see how that looks. I mean, like you said, it could be one of those things where people are just, depending on the layout of it,
Mm-hmm.
or which sport is first, it could garner more attention. I mean, we don't know. We're just all speculating. But
Right.
I did remember though, Major League Baseball, I don't think they ever fully recovered when they came from strike.
So here's the thing. They recovered for a little bit. It's called the steroid era. I mean, I don't know if they were number one, but at that time when Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa and all of them were hitting them home runs, baseball, they made a killing. They made a killing.
It garnered a lot, but I don't think it ever got back to what baseball used to be. I mean, baseball used to be, I mean, I wouldn't say ever bigger than the NFL, but at some point it was, I mean, it was the sport to watch.
Right. So our good friend Just, he said sports is all fake. I'm post. I ain't got to read it. That was the first one. Sports is all fake and business only. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's fake, but I do agree that it's a business. And I agree that to think that businesses don't have to compete for their consumer,
mm-hmm.
you know, and that's what I'm saying too, is that if they think that they just got like a model that they're just going to be able to roll out and people are just going to watch, not every sport's going to be able to do that. I think football right now could do that, and I think basketball maybe, but some of the other sports, I mean, college football, people will always get behind that. But some of the other sports, I mean, they're going to have to work.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, man, it's a few things. It's a few things that bring the world together. And music is one of them, and sports is the other.
Yeah.
It could bring you together. Especially in times of crisis, in times of need, when you're feeling down, and you have music and you have sports, and I think that's why Entertainers want to be athletes, and athletes want to be entertainers.
Now, I will say this: my computer is giving me the Teddy Riley. Not real talk. My computer, I got the Teddy Riley thing going.
What's happening, man? Hey, everybody, let's help Scott out, man.
I got 2% battery.
Oh my god! Scott, why did you charge him? You're home. Where's your charger?
Hey man, my charger's upstairs. So look,
Lord have
1%. So we gotta make it quick, man. Before I cut out.
I can still be here. I got 100%. My charger right here.
Yeah, oh man.
I can, if you want, listen, everybody. If you want to leave, I mean, if you want Scott to leave, you better say bye before your computer cuts off. Yo, we out, man. We out. Scott don't know where his charger is.
Yo, next week I have the charger going, man. But
yeah, man. And you said what?
Said when a solid hour.
Yeah.
I'll have my charger next week.
Yeah, matter of fact, yeah, you know what? I was about to get somebody else on here, but we'll have somebody with us next week. I ain't gonna say who because they know who, but we're gonna have a guest join us tomorrow. Tomorrow. It may be tomorrow. We ain't got nothing else to do, but they'll join us here on Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B
with his uncharged laptop.
That man about to talk my laptop down. Man.
So speaking of which, the 49ers, those damn 49ers, huh? Yeah. This man, I can't believe you, yo. I cannot believe you. You didn't charge your battery on purpose.
Nah, yo.
You didn't do it on purpose. You did that on purpose.
Nah, yo, I'm on my work computer. I was working on that joint all day.
Oh my god! You didn't think about putting it on the charger?
Nah.
Oh man, Scott, you are something else. All right, man, we out.
All right, peace.
All right. So speaking now, I'm just joking. I'm not about to do this for another hour.